Welcome to Popcorn Playback. Today we have a drama-filled recap of the movie, The Wrong One. Before we get to the storyline, like and subscribe to the channel to get more recaps and have a great day. Our story begins in a bar with a lady named Zaya. While she's enjoying her time there, a man named Naeem joins her. They strike up a lovely conversation, even though Naeem's flirting skills are not good. After some time, Naeem gets a call from his friend at the bar and leaves to greet him. As the story unfolds, another character named Manzel approaches Zaya. It's quite evident that he's skilled in the art of flirting and carries a more striking appearance than Naeem. The scene transitions, and we find ourselves in Naeem's house, where Naeem, Manzel, and Manzel's cousin, Zaya, are sitting on a couch. Naeem can't stop talking about Zaya, describing her as an incredibly beautiful and cool woman. He turns to Manzel and asks him what he thinks about Zaya. He also acknowledges her beauty by saying that she is gorgeous. In another setting, we find Zaya lost in her daydreams while at work. Her friend Delisha breaks into her thoughts and curiously asks about the guy she met the previous night. Zaya is feeling a bit shy and hesitant, so she doesn't share anything. Suddenly, Zaya's boss, Sharon, enters the room and praises Zaya's outstanding work. She also hits Zaya's promotion. In the following scene, Naeem approaches Manzel and shares his nervousness about an upcoming date with Zaya. He admits his struggles with dating in the past. In contrast, he acknowledges Manzel's expertise in this area. Manzel reassures Naeem, highlighting his good looks, charisma, and successful career. Manzel advises Naeem to approach the relationship with a sense of self-respect and not appear overly eager. Following Naeem's request, Manzel reluctantly agrees to assist him with his date preparations. The narrative then shifts to Zaya and her friends, engaged in cheerful conversation. Her friends display curiosity and press Zaya to share details about Naeem. Zaya, blushing and keeping it modest, doesn't say much except that they're going on their first date. On the anticipated night, Zaya arrives at Naeem's house looking stunning. Naeem, equally well-dressed, warmly welcomes her inside. Their date unfolds in the cozy ambience of Naeem's home, complete with a beautifully decorated table illuminated by candlelights. However, to Zaya's surprise, Manzel makes an unexpected appearance, bringing dinner with him. Zaya had thought they would be alone. While enjoying a movie together, Naeem mentions his occupation as an architect. He goes on to reveal that Manzel was the mastermind behind the entire evening, from setting up the table and decorations to preparing the delicious meal. Naeem adds that their friendship goes way back to elementary school, emphasizing the many life experiences they've shared. Currently, Manzel is pursuing a music career and lives with Naeem. Later on, Zaya excuses herself to use the bathroom. In an unexpected twist of fate, she accidentally encounters Manzel, who is coming from the shower naked. After she returned home, Zaya's friends video call her. They are eager to hear about her date. She shares her positive impression of Naeem, describing him as a nice and well-mannered person, and tells them that the date went well. The following morning, Aja pays a visit to Naeem's house to grab some food from the fridge. He notices special food there and inquires about it to Manzel. Manzel explains that Naeem and Zaya had a date last night. Aja calls Zaya a bitch, but Manzel stops him. It becomes apparent that Manzel might have developed feelings for Zaya. Naeem then goes with Manzel for dress selection for his second date. Manzel helps him in the outfit and also mentions that he has a music performance scheduled for the same day. Next, we find Zaya and Naeem at an art gallery, where they spend the entire day together. In a romantic moment, they kiss each other. Later, they head to the concert where Manzel is set to perform his music. Manzel's captivating song entertains the audience. After the performance, while Naeem is in the bathroom, Manzel takes the opportunity to ask Zaya if they are now officially a couple. However, Zaya says that they're not yet together as it's only their second date. The story progresses as Zaya and her friends gather at Naeem's house for a game night. During the game, Manzel heads to the kitchen and Zaya follows him. There, they engage in a conversation, and a romantic moment happens as they become captivated into each other's eyes. In the meantime, Zaya's friend Nisha enters the kitchen and catches them in the midst of their intense moment. In the subsequent scene, when they're back home, Nisha asks what happened in the kitchen, and Zaya confesses her attraction to Manzel. Nisha advises her not to play with the emotions of both friends. The passage of time is depicted with a time-lapse, showing Zaya and Naeem spending their days together. filled with joyful conversations and shared moments. In the next scene, Naim rehearses his marriage proposal for Zaya as they have plans to meet that night. Manzil advises him not to feel too pressured and to keep it relaxed. When Zaya arrives, Naim greets her with high hopes for a perfect evening. But there's a small hiccup. He forgets to bring the wine. Leaving Zaya in Manzil's company, he goes to get wine. Taking advantage of the moment, Zaya asks Manzil to sing her a song, and he obliges. As the music plays, Zaya and Manzil share an intimate moment which ends in a kiss. Unfortunately, Naim returns just in time to catch them in the act, and he's deeply upset. Naim asks Manzil to leave his house, and he scolds Zaya, telling her to go as well. As Zaya heads to her car, she spots Manzil standing outside in the cold. Compassionately, she invites him into her car, and then takes him to her house. Despite Manzil's initial intention to leave, Zaya's affections prevail. They end up having a passionate sex at Zaya's place. Following the intense events of the evening, Zaya steps outside for some fresh air and contacts her friend Nisha. She shares the entire situation with her. Nisha suggests that maybe Naim wasn't the right match for her. She advises Zaya to shift her focus to her new relationship with Manzil. The story then fast-forwards, showing a time-lapse of Zaya and Manzil's life together. They are depicted as a happy couple, sharing intimate and joyful moments. The storyline takes a dark turn as Delicia invites Zaya to join her friends for a gathering. However, when Zaya returns home from her work, she finds Manzil preparing dinner for her. She informs him of her plans to go out with her friends, but assures him that she'll enjoy the meal he's prepared when she returns. Strangely, Manzil becomes possessive and violent. It is now revealed that Manzil is basically a psychopath who is obsessed with flirting women and uses them for his personal gains. So he strikes her from behind, and then forcefully pushes her into a wall, revealing a cruel and aggressive side of him. Now Manzil makes Zaya to message her friends, informing them that she won't be joining them tonight. Then he takes her phone and instructs her to go to her room. Frightened by Manzil's behavior, Zaya is crying but obeys his orders. The following morning, Zaya receives a message from Naim, who is still concerned about her well-being and inquires if she's okay. However, Manzil gets the message and deletes it before Zaya can see it. Despite the trauma of the previous night, Zaya cautiously emerges from her room. She is still afraid of Manzil, who is acting as if nothing happened the night before. He claims to have forgiven her and advises her not to repeat such actions. As Zaya gets ready to leave for work, Manzil asks her to share her location with him and emphasizes that he'll be keeping an eye on her all the time. He insists that she must not disclose the events of the previous night to anyone. Feeling trapped, Zaya agrees to his demands. At work, when Delicia approaches Zaya, she starts crying and is about to tell her regarding Manzil's cruelty. However, their conversation is interrupted by Sharon, who is angry at Zaya for failing to prepare a presentation. On the other side of the story, we find Manzil at Naim's house, where he confronts Naim, insisting that he should refrain from texting Zaya as she is now with him. In a concerned effort to check on Zaya, Delicia contacts Nisha, expressing her worries about Zaya's well-being. Suspecting that something might be wrong, they decide to involve their friend Kim in a conference call to discuss the situation. Back at home, Zaya remains uneasy about Manzil's behavior. Her phone starts ringing, and it's her friends on the line, but she hesitates to answer. However, Manzil insists that she answer the call and put it on speaker. During the phone conversation, her friends express their concerns, especially Delicia, who had noticed Zaya crying at work earlier. They inquire if there's an issue between her and Manzil. Despite their inquiries, Zaya dismisses their worries, assuring them that there's no problem and attributing her tears to work-related exhaustion. After the call ends, Manzil becomes physically abusive, brutally striking Zaya on the head and beating her with a belt. The following morning, Zaya, bearing the marks of her abuse, sits in her car in the parking lot, attempting to hide the bruise marks on her face. Suddenly, Manzil reappears, issuing threats and reinforcing the idea that he's constantly watching her. After work, as Zaya heads to her car, she encounters Naim, who asks her why she hasn't replied to his messages. However, Zaya appears visibly frightened due to Manzil's surveillance. She avoids engaging with Naim and hurriedly makes her way to her car. The story takes a chilling and dramatic turn as someone rings the doorbell when Zaya and Manzil are at home. They both go to answer the door and find Naim outside, deeply worried about Zaya and suspecting that Manzel has been abusing her. In a swift and shocking move, Manzel retrieves a gun and shoots Naim in the chest. Witnessing this horrifying act, Zaya is overcome with fear and distress, her tears flowing through her cheeks. She confronts Manzel, questioning his violent behavior. Zaya reminds him of her unwavering support, allowing him to live in her house, loving him, and believing in him. Despite her loyalty, he has harmed her and now killed his own best friend. She warns him that there will be consequences for his actions. However, Manzel responds by grabbing Zaya and placing a gun to her head, claiming that he is innocent and intends to frame her for the murder. He mentions his intentions to deceive some other girl after her. While Manzel is still speaking, Zaya stabs him with a knife and snatches his gun and shoots him dead. The movie concludes with a faded transition, and we witness a group of women gathered together with Zaya among them. She bravely declares that she is a survivor of domestic abuse and does not want any other woman to experience the same, shedding light on her painful story. Okay, that's all for the recap of The Wrong One. Thank you for watching.